Okay, it's 7:24 p.m. It is Saturday evening, August 9th, and I'm sitting here in my room. Now, I know in the last few days I talked a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses, blah, 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 going back memory lane. I realized that some of the things I was talking about, I talked about a few months ago, or at least about a year ago, okay? And maybe this is the reason why my brain's regurgitating it all, because during this time last year, I think I was dealing with the court system. I was going down to the court, getting papers, filing papers to have them served to my ex boyfriend, my son's father, and had them served to my brother. And I was doing everything I could to get back my peace of mind because I felt as though this whole issue was really wearing me down. Now, this is right before I found out that I was a clone. Okay, and I will tell you, my mental issues were already, very heightened at the time because, I had left BT trucking. I was getting tired because I knew I had to look for work. I did not want to have to encounter these weirdos one more time. And so I kept thinking, okay, this is getting out of hand, and it started feeling sick. It was becoming twisted. It was becoming something that I felt my life was in jeopardy. I didn't feel safe, and I knew that people I just felt like my brother was involved, and I knew that my sister was involved. So I wanted to get people served with papers. Okay, now we all know that weird stuff happened, so I ended up stopping the papers. I did warn my brother in the courtroom. People all know all this stuff, right? And then I ended up finding out that my targeting went deeper than that. Okay, so what? Why I'm making this video is because obviously, I'm kind of revisiting this issue one more time because it's been a full year, I guess. Okay. And I am also realizing, I have all this extra time on my hands, and I do have to I have to face the reality, okay? Obviously, I've dealt with stupid job setups, jobs where I'm working for a year here, 2 years there. I'm there because they want to observe me, and they try to pick and prod at me, and then I end up not enjoying the environment, becoming very nervous and sick in the environment, wanting to avoid people in that environment. Okay, so that of course is going to eventually lead to me being expelled from that environment because I'm dealing with being targeted. I'm dealing with being stalked in the workplace. I'm dealing with being around people that from the very beginning didn't like me and are setting me up so that I can fail and bully me, right? So, it just gets to be old, okay? It just gets to be really old, okay? So I was dealing with major anxiety because these people sit there and they throw your life up in the air like they don't give a shit, okay? And that's what's so terrifying about it. And so I kept thinking, what's going on? I need to get this stopped. It was just traumatizing. And it's been traumatizing every single day of my life since I've dealt and realized that I was in this program. Okay, and then last year, even though I had dropped the charges, I felt like, okay, I let my brother know, and then I started getting the feeling that I was still dealing with stuff. I stopped my job search and stopped looking at for jobs completely, I would say, by the fall. And the reason why, it was just because I kept thinking, this is becoming a nightmare. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have to face having to put in applications anymore. I do not want to have to go to any or have job interviews online. I didn't want to have any job interviews wasting gas to go in to have people bully me, racially harass me, because that's exactly what it is. Oh, is she going to be wearing a wig? Is she going to be doing this stuff? Now, mind you, I know other women who dress nice to work, but I wasn't allowed to. I understand what white supremacy is, okay? And I understand what was going on. And I was like, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Okay, and I did not appreciate it at all. It was making me sick. So I kept thinking, okay, well, you know what I need to do? I need to go get some sort of income. So this is one of the reasons why I started up the Swan Song Manifesto. Now, mind you, the Swan Song Manifesto was something that I had wanted to do for a very long time anyway. So I just decided I was going to go ahead and step off and do that. Okay, I wanted to leave the 9 to 5. Okay, and what did they do? They squashed the 9 to 5, right? They said, no, you can't do that. Okay, and I'm sorry, and I hate to bring this up, but you know, I'm gonna have to call you back in here, Cancer 21, because I need you to hear this, okay? This issue, by trying to, how can I say this? I understand that the bullying was because of me not identifying with a religion that belonged to my son's father. Okay, because apparently, I don't know why, but you guys thought it was okay to allow Perry to have some sort of uh, anything to do with my life. Okay, and I know that you think, well, just because that's their father, you know, my son's old enough to make the decision whether he wants to have a relationship with his father or not. Okay, I am out of the equation, but I am not legally married to anyone. Okay, and needs to be understood. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying it and repeating it is because I desperately need to get away from my past. I need a clean break from my past. Do you understand this? I hope you do. Okay, I don't want, there is no one that I used to know that I want hanging around my workplace, you know, wanting to sit here and think that they have some sort of right to come in or be in control of my stuff or any of this sort. I cannot deal with this anymore. Okay? Because these people are not my friends. And even if they want to be my friend at this point, like I said, okay, it's like somebody trying to murder you, right? And then they want to call you up some months later and say they want to invite you over for dinner. Okay? However, it just makes me extremely uncomfortable. Okay? This is the reason why I've been putting off my job search, because it has made me ill. Okay? It's made me ill. Okay, and it's all because of the fact that I do not want to be a Christian. I have every right to not want to be a Christian. Okay? Based off of everything I've experienced, I have no good view of the Christian religion. Okay? None. Alright? Zero. Every interaction I've ever had with a person that claimed to be Christian I've only dealt with people who are crooked, brainwashed, mentally ill, disturbed, and they want to turn that over on me. Now, I know people think that they don't like my views, they don't like the way my spiritual views. You don't have to. There is no way, nowhere that says that you have to like my spiritual views, and there's nowhere within the law that says that I have to like your views either. Even if it's the majority, or what do you call it, the main form of religion that's being practiced, okay? And the very fact that it is the mainstream thing that's being practiced, the most common, the most, what do you call it, popular, that right there makes me wonder and question about it. Okay? That right there makes me question, right there. Now, I don't like having to bring in these conversations about, religion, and I certainly don't like ever coming off like I'm trying to cut people down. But it's the fact that people crossed a line, okay? And the people that I used to know crossed a moral line, okay? To me, it's a moral issue when people press your back to the wall and threaten your life. My life was threatened, okay? My life was threatened. And, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it at all. And, this is my life, and I cherish my life, and I've worked hard to build the life that I do have. I have a character. I have a what do you call, a reputation. I do believe that I'm somebody who has more integrity than you could possibly ever imagine. Okay, that's not to say that I don't believe that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I never made a mistake. Okay, but I have, a very strong personality, and I do have a clean conscience, meaning I don't create drama in the lives of other people, nor would I ever. Okay, but what happened to me was a form of white supremacy. And see, I know a lot, like, the Ku Klux Klan and a lot of, like, what you call white nationalists, they're quick to use, like, religion, the whole Christian religion, as if, they feel as though they have some sort of entitlement over what they call the mud races, people who are black or whatever. And this is the reason why I believe that they ended up messing my credit. It was orchestrated by a white nationalist group of some sort. Okay, and I understand what injustice is. Now, it would be different for me if how can I say this? I'm never going to bow down to that. Okay, I'm never going to sit here and think, okay, it's completely acceptable for people to do what they're doing. And I don't believe in Christianity because obviously it's a way that people, or a system that people use in order to abuse other people. This is one of the reasons why I don't accept it. And you know, like I said, the people who were supposed to set a good example of what a good Christian life is supposed to be, they failed miserably. You know what I mean? All I've ever known were people who were gossipers, backbiters, people who secretly envied other people. You know, I think, like, for example, Terry Collins. Okay, Terry Collins didn't like the fact that I dress nice. You know what I mean? So therefore, I'm supposed to sacrifice my clothes and my life for who? For someone I don't even care about. You know what I mean? Or it's because she gets together with her white people, her other white friends, and then tries to push me up to the wall and try to have me killed off because she doesn't like me, but being superior to her. At least she feels that way. You know what I mean? I think it's the fact that, you know, my eyes have been opened to so many people who've been outright evil. You know what I mean? And see, a lot of people who don't think about religion, they don't think about doctrines, they don't think if something's scriptural or not, they don't question whether it's scriptural or not, or whether it's legal or not. You know what I mean? Or, you know, does somebody have the right to impose that sort of crap on somebody else? And I know my rights. You know what I mean? And I understand, you know, something might be scriptural. Like for example, let's just say, for example, it's scriptural for women to obey their husbands. Okay, I would say based on the Bible, and that I suppose it is. Okay, but can somebody legally hold somebody responsible because they do not want to be married or they want to get divorced or something like that? No, they can't. So you can have, there's religion and there's laws here in this country. You know what I mean? And you know, people have the right to practice their religion, but they do not have the right to impose their religion on other people. They don't have the right to sit here and, like, you know, threaten people's lives to initiate their religion. And see, this is the Ku Klux Klan type behavior. This sort of the Ku Klux Klan mentality, using God as if, you know, hey, it's for them to say, hey, we're the white race, we're superior, we're going to destroy your shit, or we're going to take your shit, or we're going to. This is what white people do. You know, kind of like, no offense, but this is what colonizing was, basically. Is what it was, okay? And so some people take it to the extreme. Even though they themselves were not the colonizers, they're not the ones with the royal blood, they like to push their weight around. You know what I mean? They're just plain white people, but they still think they're special. You see what I'm saying? So my point is like, you know, I'm not going to let people like Terry Collins tell me how to, you know, live my life. Especially since when I start to think about how long she's been sitting around, you know, being in my life, and this is what bothers me so much. You know, I don't have a lot of time in life. I'm 53 years old, okay? And since I was been in my 40s, I have been promising myself every fucking day of my life, I am going to do something that is for me. I am tired of dealing with people who abuse me. I walked away from these people a long time ago. And when I found out that these people were in my life, I'm going to tell you, I was not happy about it. Not happy about it at all. Because, like I said goodbye a long time ago. I want my own life. You know, I mean, you know, and it's sad because it's like, you know, what really bothered me is the fact that they, you know, I believe that you're associated with this group as well. You know, my YouTube channel, for example. Okay, my YouTube channel, being online, you know, they prevent me from having a social life. You know, it's the campaign smear, and the only people that are in my life are garbage. You know what I mean? Also, I mean, I understand that they affect my credit. Like, for example, they don't want black people to have credit. This is one of the reasons why they ruin it. So should I sit here and worry about paying these people back? Should I give a shit? I don't know if I should or not. Should I just flip them the bird, tell them to go fuck yourself? I mean, why should I sit here and worry about trying to pay back my credit cards? Why? You know what I mean? I'm just basically saying it's just like, you know, it's these systematic things that go on underneath the surface with organized crime. That's exactly what it is. It's organized crime. Okay? And I believe perhaps maybe some of these celebrities that were digging in my stuff were a part of that. Okay, and they use their sway and all this other stuff to do with the stuff that they're. Who's to say? I don't know if that's connected to what's going on over there in Europe or not. Okay, because I haven't read or dug into the entire thing. I just read a little bit, and something intuitive flashed across my mind. So I like some of that might have something to do with what's going on over here. You know, the bounce back, seeing what's going on over there. You know, riots and stuff like that. Now, I'm not instigating a riot. I did everything I could to be very peaceful about this whole issue. I really did. I mean, like, you know, and I've been talking really nice about it. People have, you know, comment on the fact that I'm very calm and cool and collected about this. You know what I mean? And the part of the main reason why I don't get, like, overly pissed off, I mean, there's times I get pissed off, and don't get me wrong, just because I'm talking about this with somewhat of a detached manner and being calm about it does not, by in any means, lessen the fact that it mentally disturbs me greatly. Okay? But you know, I think what makes it easier for me to say these things is it's difficult for people to come out and say stuff a lot of times because, you know, they fear more than anything of losing the approval of certain people that they care about. At this point, Cancer 21, I have lost respect for everyone I ever knew. I don't care what they think of me. Okay, and there's no reason for me to care what they think of me. Okay, they crossed a moral boundary. Okay, that you don't cross with me. Okay, and I make this very clear. You know, it's funny, like when I was younger, I would, you know, people used to hang out at my house, okay? Like back in the 90s, people hung out at my house a lot, okay? And actually, you know, I kind of like that. It's unfortunate, and I have to think about all these people as being perps, you know what I mean? Because it's nice to be able to spend good times with people that you truly like, okay? But I would say that my house was kind of like the hangout. You know, and I enjoyed having that sort of company. But, you know, people sometimes would cross boundaries with me. You know, like they would sit there and try to impose their personal opinion and try to force that shit on me, right? And I was getting tired of it. You know what I mean? And slowly but surely it would accumulate to the point of where the resentments were starting to build up and I would throw them out of my house. Like, just get out of my house, okay? And what really irritated me is when they didn't get it the first time. You know what I mean? I started developing more and more into understanding what is people offering constructive criticism sincerely, and what is it that, and the difference between somebody who's just trying to manipulate me because they either, number one, secretly want what I have, or they're trying to compete with me, or they just, some people just want to impose their preferences on you. They like the color purple. They think they might like color purple in your house, and you have your house with green in it, and they're so, you know, enthusiastic about their own interests that they try to impose that interest on you. Okay? And I understand there's sometimes, you know, when you're close to somebody, you feel like a certain form of adaptation. Like adaptation becomes easy. Like, you know, if you have a friend or you have somebody that you care about, you know, they might incorporate things into your life that you incorporate into your life. Okay, they might show you something, you're like, hey, you know, that's pretty cool. I think I need to go get me one. You know, there are certain things that my son showed me, right? That I'm like, hey, you know what, that's cool. Or there are certain movies that he suggested that I'd watch, and I would incorporate that into my life, at least by, you know, watching it as a form of entertainment, at least, right? But there are some people who literally demand that you live their way. Okay, and by going through the employment system to do it is a form of, it's like you threaten my life. Okay, that's where it's like that you don't cross that line. And of course, you know, throughout the time of me being on this channel, I've made videos since 2015 explaining, like, you know, the legal system. I've explained it from my spiritual views on it, based on my views on how, when I studied the Bible and what it meant. So, and if somebody contested it, because I know there was all kinds of different religious denominations related to the Christian faith that were bullying me, that were a part of it, we could have had an open discussion about this if we wanted to have a Christian dialogue about it. But not one person did it because they wanted to continue to work behind the scenes. You know, and what bothers me about working behind the scenes, Cancer 21, is that's exactly what my mother did to me. She worked behind the scenes. She knew exactly how I felt about merging forces with the Collins family. I sent him his ring back because I didn't want to marry him. Meaning I didn't want him to have any influence, any say, any direction into my life, any input, nothing. And I didn't want his mom having any input in my life either. Definitely didn't want her, because I knew that Terry was a racist. I could tell, you know what I mean? And even I was very young at the time, and I really wasn't. I'm going to say at that time, I think I was like, what, 20? I was early. I was in my early 20s when I met. Gosh, my God, look how many years have gone by. Shit, this is really pissing me off when I think about it, because look how many years I have wasted of my life having to deal with workplace mobbing, bullying, people expecting me to live up to their standards, and it's like, I don't even owe this bitch nothing, okay? But I could tell that she would say a lot of off-color things, right? You know what I mean? And I know her daughter said it many times, and it used to confuse me, because it's like, wait a second, aren't you guys Jehovah's Witnesses? Aren't you guys supposed? Because you know, every time you look at a watchtower a watchtower or a wig, you know, they act like they're so religiously integrated, like there's no problem, there's no tension going on between black and white people. Jehovah's Witnesses are like they act like they're open to everybody, but people have their hidden biases. Okay, and so, you know, after a while, it's like, you know, I'm starting to get older at the time, and Bruce and I we were planning on getting married at the time, and I remember thinking, you know what, I've got to stop this. I need to get away. I knew I needed to get away slowly but surely from each and every person that was not to my highest good. So I knew that I can eliminate Bruce, and I will eliminate Terry, and I'm going to eliminate Jennifer, and I'm going to go on with my life. Also, you know, the kids from high school, all those other people, I had stopped talking to them many years ago, okay? So it didn't matter. And then also, that was it. So, you know, I moved over here, and I was trying to work a job or whatever. I don't ever recall calling her or anything like that. I haven't spoken to Terry, I do remember her coming by one time. Now, wait a second. Do you remember her coming by one time and saying hi? And she came to pick up my son. Okay, that was many years ago. I don't even know what year it was. Okay, but I don't recall ever having any connection with her. Okay, what she was trying to do. The answer is no. I mean, like, I'm just not trying to live my life for people anymore. I've never had anybody who cared about me. You know what I mean? And I feel as though the people that I do want in my life, or my tribe, or my, you know, if I was to have some sort of clique or whatever, you know, it's important that we have the same sort of values. You know what I mean? That's not to say that I won't be friends or be concerned about somebody who's different than me, but it's like, yeah, you know, I need to be around people who have the same views as me. You know what I mean? My views are important to me, because I feel as though, you know, the way I live and the way I think has gotten me through some really hard times. You know what I mean? And really, I don't think I would be a survivor if I didn't think this way. You know, some people wonder, like, Maria, well, how is it that you will not give in to peer pressure? But you know what? This is it. I'm going to tell you right now why I don't give in to peer pressure. Okay? Because I think so lowly of the people who are doing it that there's no way in hell that I even want to think about being like them in any way, shape, or form. So therefore, there's no question about me turning or changing my mind. It's that simple. I mean, it's like, I really do not appreciate the imbecile type culture that we live in. And when I say culture that we live in, I'm talking about collectively. You know, the petty type bullshit that goes on, the competition, the let me one-up you, let me sit here and follow you for years and years and years, let me impose my way of life on you, let me, you know, what really bothers me, Cancer 21, is the whole thing about the whole Jehovah's Witness, like me peeling back the layers of the bullshit. Okay, the fact that, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses were banding together with other religions to sit here and bully me when that's supposed to go against their doctrine. You know what I mean? It's the hypocrisy, all of it. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. You know what I mean? And really what it was is, I believe Terry was probably interacting with perhaps maybe even some of the celebrity wives, because I feel as though there was a lot of bullying that was going on, and it's the kind of catty type women bullshit that people deal with, and they try to instigate this stuff a lot in the workplace. Like I said, I'm not responsible for the failures of other women. I'm tired of taking on that burden, and I really shouldn't. You know what I mean? I think maybe it's the first time that somebody's actually brought this up and talked about things so openly. Okay, I think Terry may have an issue with me being an occultist. Maybe she doesn't understand the occult. You know, I would say most people that I knew that were Jehovah's Witnesses had very little understanding of most how life works. Period. You know, let me tell you a story about one of my landlords. Oh my God, when I was living in Cal City, I had this Jehovah's Witness landlord, and what was so funny about her is that, okay, what's funny about this? I was renting this mobile home, right, and it was cute too. It was like, and it was bright and sunny inside. And I will say that the lot of the mobile home was kind of run down because Cal City was supposed to be like this big type built up city. They had such expectations for Cal City, but Cal City unfortunately just never made it. It wasn't the booming town that was want they expected it to be. So there's a lot of abandoned, unfinished type places that ended up being left over. And this particular mobile home place that I was living in, it was cute, but you can tell that it was just really the upkeep just wasn't there. But anyway, I had started renting in this place from this lady who was a Jehovah's Witness, and she would come by, and kind of pick apart what it was that I was doing. She always had this frown on her face, and one day she and I had this confrontation, right? And I basically told her, basically get out of my house. And I was getting stronger. It's like I was getting stronger. I was getting tired of people thinking it was okay to bully me or whatever. I didn't know exactly about me being Prince Alameda. I didn't know any of that stuff. I just knew that, you know what, I'm getting tired of people thinking it's okay to speak with me that way, and it's not okay. So I said something to her, and she seemed like she was really like, she was blown away. Okay, but I'm just rambling on at this point. What ended up happening is that I found out that she didn't even own that house. What it was that house was abandoned, right? And she took advantage of the fact that it was abandoned, and she acted as though she was the owner so she could collect rent payments. Now the reason why I'm going to blame, I'm not going to say that she was outright criminal in this issue, is because I know a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are very ignorant. They are very ignorant, and a lot of them because Jehovah's Witnesses really do not. At least when I was younger, okay, and studying with them, a lot of them do not value education, like in any form of education. Like they go up to high school, and some of them go to college, okay. But how can I say this? It's like she thought that as long as a person could move out, was not living in that house, that she felt as though she could just take over ownership. She really didn't think about the legalities of it. She didn't. It never crossed her mind. I really do believe that this woman was really that ignorant. And the reason why she was ignorant, because obviously she never had much of an education. Now, you don't have to have much of an education to know that it's not your place to rent out, okay? But I'm just saying is, in the simplistic world of somebody who really, let me just say, she was ignorant, okay? She was just really ignorant. So, I understand that, Terry Collins must have been very ignorant to act what she did in public. You know what I mean? And then I do think that she was probably getting a lot of pat-backs, praises, and people encouraging her to be as monstrous as she was. Maybe perhaps from other jealous women who are competitive or whatever, or just white people in general. Okay, I am shocked at what she did. Mainly, I should be very shocked because I knew that she was racist. I just didn't know that she had that much hate behind her. Okay, it was uncalled for. Okay, and I am going to have to say, sorry about this, Cancer 21, but, I don't know. Hey, she should have never taken charge, and you should have never allowed her. Okay, whether you did it on accident or maybe you didn't really understand, I don't know. Okay, unfortunately, they probably made it very clear that they wanted to have control over my stuff. Okay, I'm assuming, okay, because maybe she was just being nosy, or maybe she just felt like she wanted to control somebody, or maybe it was her way of exercising her white supremacy or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? She had no right, and I'm psychologically affected by it because I'm looking back at all these years, You know, all the years. I'm thinking about the years, even the year that I was confronting that Jehovah's Witness lady, my landlord, who wasn't even my landlord, ripping me off for all this money, right? I'm thinking about the years that I was spending with her. All those years, this woman has been controlling my life or being a part of my life when I didn't want her to. I'm thinking about years that were like taken away from my life. I feel as I sit here in my room, day after day, I've been feeling more and more cheated. I've been feeling more and more like somebody just took my life. Do you understand? I am 53 years old. I am 53 years old, and what I'm referring to happened to me like almost, oh my God, she's been in my life for entirely too long. Okay? And I'm angry with my mother because my mother should have listened, and my mother's another ignorant person. You know, and what blinded my mother was tradition. Now, I'm not bashing tradition. You know what I mean? I think it's nice if a child has a mother and a father. You know what I mean? It's nice if people could live that fairy tale storybook type stuff. Oh, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? But it's not like that, right? And so my mom thought, okay, she thought everything was so black and white. That's the boy. That's Houston's father. Therefore, you know, I'm going to go ahead and think it's okay, or endorse, or perhaps maybe my mom even assisted Terry in some way or whatever. You know what I mean? But what she did was wrong. Okay, she didn't think about the psychological effects of what this bitch was sitting here talking about. You know what I mean? Filling my kid's head with shit, or perhaps even trying to turn my son against me. Okay, you don't do that. Okay, this is my life. Okay, and I understand like a lot of people may have thought that I was stupid when I was younger. Uh, I want you to understand what people saw in the workplace when I was younger. They saw somebody who was very confused and not understanding why in the world is everybody bullying me. I could not articulate because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job. I would wonder like, why in the world is everybody bullying me all the time? How do you know me to even do this? You know, I was always puzzled as to why all of this stuff was going on. I didn't realize I was a targeted individual back then. You know what I mean? And I at the time, I remember I used to stutter a lot because I was already dealing with a lot of bullying. These people had me snowed under with hate, with bullying, with all kinds of gaslighting. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, because people were so brainwashed, everybody thought these people were righteous, these were upstanding people, these were great people. No, they're not. They're evil people. Plain and simple. They're evil because they enjoy bullying people. They're evil because this was a Nazi plan, and like I said, they enjoyed the evil. They enjoyed it. Terry Collins enjoyed it. So did her daughter Jennifer. You know what I mean? Knowing good and well they had no right to do what they did, but they enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And apparently so did the city of Lancaster. You know what I mean? This is the sort of sick pathology that these sort of experiments, you know, bring out in people. All right? And so I deal with the after effects of a hate crime. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I get on my channel and I talk about it because, you know, I'm constantly thinking about how old I'm getting. And I'm constantly thinking about how much of my life has been taken away from me. You know what I mean? I do blame my mother. I blame my sister. I blame so many people for their evil, for just being hateful, evil, wicked, selfish, envious, whatever. And then the worst part of it is, it's like I'm 53 years old and I deserve more in life. Okay, maybe I'm not talking about career-wise or anything, but I deserve a better quality of life. And so you best believe every day of my life, I try to make it the best way I possibly can. I try to do as much as I possibly can of things I like. I try to make my life a little bit more spongier, okay, than I possibly can. Okay, a lot of my life has been taken from me, and I resent it, and I'm angry. And no, I am not me, but I have every right to reject white supremacy. Meaning any white bullying that's going to be coming my way, I don't have to put up with that. I'm not going to either. You know what I mean? It's not about disrespecting people. You know, if I meet somebody and they say hi, I say hi. I'm polite, I'm whatever. Okay, but if somebody's going to bully me and tell me I'm supposed to do something just because they're white and I'm supposed to listen, no, I'm sorry. There's reasons why there's laws like that. I'm not going to adhere to a hate crime. I'm angry that somebody got into my life and dictated and came in and infiltrated my family space. This is my life. This is my home. This is my life. This is my child. You know, like I said, my son's older. He's over the age of 18. He has every right to see and talk to whoever he wants to. I don't own that. Okay? What I'm saying is, you don't sit here and try to tell or set standards for my son. Now, my son's grown now, right? He's grown. But that means that when my son was younger, she felt as though she had some sort of right to say or put her 2 cents worth in. No, she didn't. She is not. I mean, it angers me, and rightfully so. Okay, now regardless of what people thought, they might have thought that I was stupid, whatever. But you know, I've never been stupid. What I was I was scared. I was tired of people always messing with me. I was tired of people always trying to make it seem like there was always something wrong with me. You know what I mean? They never wanted me to be around them. Okay, and every time I talked about something, it was always like, oh, boring, whatever. They never got into the things I liked. Okay, so they never knew me. Okay, they just assumed that the person that was responding to their bullying was my personality. That's exactly what it is. Okay, and they refused to see who I really was because it hurt their white egos. Truth, this is one of the reasons why they didn't like the fact that, you know, they went so far as to change all that information over at passive aggressive stupidity. Oh no, she can't possibly be analytical. We feel more comfortable with her being like, you know, an artist. It was white supremacy that made these people do what they did. Okay, because she felt threatened. And you know, I understand. I have a strong personality. Okay, I'm not trying to threaten the white race. Okay, I play a very small role outside of my little computer box. When I mean, like, you know, I do my little YouTube stuff or whatever. But you know, I've never been interested in getting into politics. I never did anything. But when somebody affects my ability to pay my bills, okay, and when it hits home, like the way that it did. She thinking that she has a right to dictate my credit. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, this was white supremacy. I feel as though it's the same thing as somebody putting a cross in my yard and lighting it up. It was white terrorism. Period. You have no right to affect my credit. You know what I mean? You have no right to sit here and, like, you know, take away my vehicle or prevent me from being at work. Why? Because I'm not up to your standards. You know what I mean? Because I'm not bowing down to Terry Collins. I mean, I'm sorry. I know this is a rant video, and I'm trying not to make these rant videos, but I'm resenting the fact that I have to look for work. This is really what it's boiling down to. I resent the fact that I have to look for work. I have to work. You know what I mean? But I just remember having to deal with so much drama that it's making me very edgy. It's causing me to have, you know, serious problems. You know what I mean? Because I associate work with abuse. I associate work with something negative now. Whereas before, I used to like going to work. These people, like I said, everything about this situation and this group of people that really, it's important. You know, of course, I want nothing to do with my past. I don't want anything to do with it. Okay? I don't want to sit here and deal with my sister Lisa. I don't need to see these people that sat here and participated in my abuse. It's traumatizing. You know what I mean? Or I have to walk into a workplace where all this bullshit's going to have to start up all over again. I don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? I don't need to deal with their white supremacists. Let me fucking try to hate Maria anymore. I'm sick of it. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, they must have convinced you guys that it was okay. It's not okay. Okay? Bruce can have whatever relationship he wants to with my son. That's their relationship. They are father and son, after all. I mean, at the end of the day, that's who they are. Okay, whether I, acknowledge it or whatever, it's what it is. Okay, but Terry Collins has nothing to do with me. Okay, and this is what bothers me so much. It bothers me, it angers me that my life has been cut short. Okay, on bullshit that I wish I could have avoided because somebody decided to choose my quote unquote kingdom spouse. That shit scares the hell out of me. It's scary when people talk about that stuff, that kingdom spouse shit. That scares the fuck out of me because people do nothing but abuse me because I have a very strong personality, because I'm extremely intellectual. If I'm around the wrong kind of person, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to want to abuse me. Why? Because they don't expect me to be the intelligent person I am. And a lot of men do not like the fact that I'm this way. And I can't help it. I am who I am. You know what I mean? It is what it is, okay? So it makes sense that I need to be protective. I need to protect myself. So this is one of the reasons why I was begging for my life. I understood how many years left I have in my life. I wanted to get on with my life. Okay. Now I don't know if it was Lever 14 or whoever decided to mess with my credit and they do these sort of things because they're sending me death threats, and that's exactly what I look at it as. You're trying to threaten my life. Okay. Stop wearing clothes. Why? Why? For what reason? Why is because it's because of what white supremacy. I am never going to sit here and bow down to white supremacy ever. Ever. Okay, white bullying, no. White respect, meaning like if I'm going to respect somebody because, I met him, he's my boss or whatever, yeah, I'm going to give you that respect, okay? But because you do something orchestrated behind the scenes to try to lessen the quality of my life that I rightfully have, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, and rightfully so. Now, I don't know if this, like I said, if this is some of the stuff that's going on over in the UK, I don't know. I really don't. It just kind of flashed through my mind that it could have something to do with me indirectly. I did want to address that. I basically just kind of, at this point in my life, it's very difficult for me to be, to look forward to life. It's taken out a lot of everything in my life, and I feel as though seriously, and I'm going to be very upfront about this, and this is how I truly feel. If I had the ability to put these people in front of a firing squad, I would do it. And if it was legal for me to do so, that means I would line up Terry, I would line up Jennifer, I would line up all these people who wasted my life, who thought it was okay to sit here and bully me, to take things out of my life, to try to force their religion on me. I would make sure that they were gone. I would make sure they would never come back to hurt me ever again. Okay? I mean, seriously, when I think about my past, okay, how I've had to sit here and grow up my entire life, and then I tried my hardest to start over again because I knew that these people were damaging me, and I wanted to make sure that I had a better life. And these people follow me and ruin my life again. I have nothing but hatred for these people. Nothing but hatred for these people. And so, when I have to sit here and think about going to work, now this is the trigger. It's the trigger. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult for me to do anything right now. It just is, okay? Because it's been a nightmare with these people. It just has been, And I hope that my situation will hopefully create better workplaces for other people in the future. At least that would be cool. You know what I mean? Because nobody should ever have to go to work worrying about this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with the whole Christian religion thing about, I know a lot of men might be angry because, everybody's situation is different. I'm not trying to destroy the institution of marriage. I'm just saying is there are certain people who cannot get married, and I'm one of them. I am not getting married. You know why? Because I am a targeted individual. I have a reputation of being associated with James Gordon's daughter. And you know what? There was a lot of white people who wanted to kill me. Okay? And because you infiltrated the religion thing, okay? It's a long story, okay? Now Maria just needs to be by herself, and I just want to feel safe. And I just want to live out the rest of my life how I need to live it out. I don't have that many years left, okay? And then I just want to go. Okay? And I do not want to fucking come back to this hellhole. I hate it. Okay, it has nothing to offer. It's a waste of time. You know what I mean? And there's nothing but disappointment. And I think most people who work a 9-to-5 job, there's a bunch of people who work 9-to-5 jobs, complaining just about that right there. You know what I mean? And then you throw this whole issue on, thinking it's okay to have family members come in, and then you're adding the religious aspect into it. You're making people's lives miserable in the workplace. Okay, work is already, people really need a decent, you cannot have work-life balance if you have that nonsense going on. It's impossible. It's impossible. You know? And it's these illegal practices that people normalize is what's causing so much pain in people's lives. You know what I mean? When I think about the time that I have wasted in my life with these people who have been in my life, causing my life, causing my life to have nothing but pain in it. People that I've walked away for years and said goodbye to, wanted nothing to do with, and they demanded to be a part of my life when I wanted them to be out of it. Okay? And I'm looking back and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm 53 already. I made an effort to get these people out of my life and they followed me, and people let that happen. I'm telling you now, Cancer 21, please don't let that happen again. Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video, okay? And I'm going to hopefully try to get some rest because I'm tired. Okay, I'll be back on the other video sometime later.